Hi, y'all, and welcome to the very first episode of Barbershop Love Stories, where we highlight the stories of good men and get their thoughts on relationships and love and all that good stuff. My name is Lena West, and my guest today is Ronnie Battle. Ronnie, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Ronnie is one of my best and most favorite clients. We've known each other for about 6 years, I believe. I love to pick his brain and get his thoughts on everything. He's a really incredible guy. I'm really interested in origin stories. I love a good origin story. So would you mind sharing how you met your wife?
How I met her was actually in church, and I seen this person from afar. Had an idea, actually, with a dream I had the night before, and throughout this whole dream was me trying to chase and see who this person is in this dream. And the very next day, went to church, like nothing, happened, but I still had this image in this dream just really heavy in me. And went to church the next day, and I just happened to look to the right, and didn't even see her face, but I just saw her, and I was like, that's the person.
So basically something just clicked inside of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you the type where you were going to church to find someone, or was this just something that just happened?
No, again, I think it was more so in the sense I was going to church to find me. If there was anyone I was going to find, it was me. I think it was more or less in the sense that probably maybe a few months prior to me meeting her or even seeing her, because keep in mind I saw her, but I didn't talk to her for like 10 months.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I think it was just more or less, there were some things that was taking place in my life, and I think it was, I made a point that I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of doing this, what I'm doing by myself. So I think that was more in line of me not necessarily going to seek someone, but more so, being available in a different mindset to where if and when that happened, I would be able to, one, recognize it and then accept it.
Okay, so you, if I remember correctly, you were in the NFL, and I know there's like a lot of stuff happened during that period of time, I'm sure, with women and stuff. And so you got out, and then you started to work on your relationship with God, or was this, how did it come
I
about?
always had a relationship with God. I was just disobedient.
Okay, so you was out here wilding.
Yeah, I've always had a relationship with God. Shoot, wild out on Saturday, I was in church on Sunday.
Oh, that was you.
That was me.
Okay.
That was me.
With the Crown Royal bottles in the
Oh
back seat.
man, I promise you. Again, we're having a podcast. Maybe this may help somebody. You know what I mean? I wouldn't never say I was definitely trying to be the perfect Christian. I was just trying to be the perfect Ronnie, be the best Ronnie. You know what I mean? I always had a relationship with God. I was always, God was always instilled in me at a very young age by my mother and my grandmother, and it was more or less in the sense where God knew that I needed that time. You know what I mean? It's amazing God allows you to go through some things. Some things I went through that, not necessarily that was part of God's plan, but, it was part of probably the ultimate plan, because I had to get those lessons. In football, you run reps, you go to practice, and you get those reps. I had to get these reps to understand what a good thing looks like versus a bad thing.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? And so, and I had a lot of reps with the not so good things. So when I had an opportunity to see a good thing, I would actually know what that is versus, the latter.
Would you say that you were in a position where you were healed from those bad things and you were ready to receive your good thing? Because I hear a lot of people, they say, well, you got to get healed before you go into another relationship. And whatever that means, whether that's counseling, there's therapy, you talking with your buddies, or just taking time to step away from relationships. But where were you at with that?
I won't say I was healed. I think it was me being, a former athlete. I didn't really know why the girls were there. You know what I mean? It wasn't because of status, it wasn't because of money, it wasn't because of a combination of those things, or they wanted a baller or whatever the case would be. So I kind of it was almost like a game that I was playing inside of a game. You know what I mean? Not so much because one thing about it, the touchdown, I would say would be my heart. And that was one thing that I was always trying to protect. So theoretically, I was never necessarily in a relationship or had relationships. You know, they were probably more situationships.
Okay.
You know,
Accessories. Yeah.
Friend with benefits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But I think I tried to respect as many. I was never really outwardly disrespectful with women or whatever the case may be. Never tried to put things in their face or anything like that. So I think it was just more or less in a sense with me. It wasn't more of me coming out of something and being healed. You know what I mean? I think it was more of me just growing up. You know what I mean? Identifying and saying, because I think, you know, from the time, you know, I really got married with 24, 25. At that point in my life, I've done more than most men would probably dream of doing, you know, at a very young age. So I think it was just more or less at the time, at that point, I realized that I was just reoccurring old events. You know, I'm just continuing to do this. And I'm like, okay, how long can I continue to do this? Because, you know, whereas most people are like, man, that's awesome, man, you're the man. You know, I mean, right now I'm getting real burned out.
Sounds
doing
exhausting.
the same. It is exhausting. It's exhausting. I mean, again, you have to, you know, keep up with schedules. You know, you have to keep up with, you know, different mindsets. You know, emotions. You know, you guys are very emotional. You know,
Yes,
and right now I
yeah.
just want to come home and chill, but I got to hear about this person's day, and I got to actually act like I care. You know, so it was just one of those things like, you know, this is really burning me out. So I don't think it was more or less me coming out of a relationship and I'm being healed. I think it was just more or less like, okay, what else is out there that possibly could be better than this?
Gotcha. And so you were shown the dream, and then you saw her, and then, like, what happens next? Are you like, hey, I just had a dream, and you were in it, and you're my future, and God told me that we're supposed to be together?
I saw her that one time and then see another, you know, for 10 months later. Found out later that she herself was getting out of a relationship. And I think it was just more about the timing, you know. Again, I think it was more of a confirmation, but, you know, having to wait until they have to get through what they were getting through. I think if I would have, you know, tried to pursue it or tried to, you know, make things happen the way I wanted to probably make them happen, then theoretically, like, a lot of times you can get something, you can mess it up. You know, like, yeah, you can have a cake, you know, but until, you know, you can take it out and it's ready, but it's not, you gotta let it cool off. You can't be too fast to put the icing on it.
That reminds me of some of the people in the Bible where God gave the promise, but then it was like years before it was walked out, like it was done. So I think that's really, really interesting that people might need to hold on to. So that season where it was the 10 months, what were you doing during that season?
Myself better.
Okay.
You know, I mean, fighting off the temptations that I thought that I, you know, was able to fight off, but yet I was able to fight off, sustain it. But, you know, during that 10 months, I think the enemy was really after me as well, because they knew the commitment that I was trying to come from. You know, you're talking about a person that literally just cut off a lifestyle cold turkey, you know, and the enemy is almost like, okay, well, we'll see about that.
And if we touch on that,
Okay.
that cold turkey, because I was really stunned about this. I mean, here you are, a good-looking guy. You're in your mid-20s, like hot stuff, basically, you know. And then you made this vow that. Well, why don't you tell us?
Well, I mean, I think it was more so in the sense I woke up one day. In fact, the day that I actually cut it off cold turkey, we're gonna be totally candid, I was with a girl, you know, the night before. And you know, the Holy Spirit woke me up and said, okay, now I'm ready to use you. I'm ready to use you. So it wasn't so much me, it was me being obedient to what was being told to me, you know. And I'm like, okay, I have a choice. I mean, because the girl that I was with, I felt like I was in love with her at the time. I thought that she was, you know, had the potential of being the person. But I woke her up and said, okay, we can't do this anymore. I would like to continue the relationship, but we can't do this anymore. And that was not a path that she was ready to face. you know, and I had to let her go. But yet I was more
concerned about obedience.
Oh, totally not concerned. I was more like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, you know, because again, you can deny a lie, but you can't deny the truth, you know. And I was telling myself, this is what I wanted, you know, and now here it is. He said, as clear as I'm talking to you, all right, I'm ready to use you. And I remember confessing and professing, like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna follow you, you know. And I could tell you, it didn't get any easier, you know. In fact, it probably got harder, but I was able to stay focused on what it is. I mean, I'm a former athlete. You know, there's some certain disciplines that you have to have. You know, again, you know, you have to grind to be an athlete. You have to sacrifice. You have to struggle. So if I'm able to do that being an athlete, I'm able to definitely do that. You know, from the one who's given me the opportunity, and that is God. So you know,
I would say that is a miraculous feat in itself, because I haven't heard many men say, I stopped before I got married. Like, it's not really a thing. What kind of, like, did you feel like you got clarity during that season, and that, like, you were just able to focus on yourself, like, way more? Like, could you have focused on yourself, still been, you know, kind of messing around, and then when she was ready?
God will bless him, man. I mean, I think in this case right here, you know, like I said, keep in mind, I've already done everything. So me continue to do it, I'm just
Doing something.
It was continuing. So, and I didn't like where I was at. So my whole point is that, you know, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result is a little insanity, right?
Correct.
So I wanted something better. I wanted something different, you know, and I knew that I could not continue to do what I'm doing to get to where I'm trying to go. So, you know, I was able to, you know, and here's the thing, what I was doing was right here in front of me. Where I was trying to go, I was unknown. Ooh. But I was more focused on what was, you know, the unknown, and I was more drawn to the unknown, and actually more determined to get to the unknown, you know, than actually staying where I was in the known.
That reminds me of something I heard a while back. They said your blessing is on the other side of obedience. And sometimes when we know that we need to be obedient in a particular area, we don't know what's on the other side of that. Like, you going into it blindly. And so, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It was crazy though, man. I didn't feel like I was going through it blindly. I think it was just once I accepted that this is what I'm going to do.
You just did it.
Yeah, I did it. And, you know, again, never felt alone. You know, might have felt lonely, but never felt alone, you know, from that standpoint.
Okay. So 10 months go by, and then you see
Happy
her.
to see her again. You know, I had a friend who spoke with her, you know, and introduced me, you know, had a conversation, and how they said the rest is history.
The rest is history. Okay. So you all got married how much longer after you started dating?
Probably I would say 13 months.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere from there. So
Okay.
13 months.
13 months. And were you prepared, do you feel like? I mean, I don't know what kind of background. Did you have two parents that were in the home?
No, I had a mother, grandmother, had, you know, strong women in my fold, but never not have a father. Know my father is, you know, I'm a junior, you know, but not having a father figure per se in my presence in the home. You know, in fact, I sometimes often think, considering who my father is and the man he is, we're on two sides of the spectrum, you know, and I feel as though had he been in my life, I probably would be the man I am today.
Okay, so how did you become Ronnie Battle, the Ronnie Battle that you are now? Was that a combination of other men sowing into your life, or did you just decide, I'm going to be the opposite of what was done to me?
Well, I think again, you know, my father not being in my life was, you know, I learned that his father wasn't in his life, even though he has a lot of brothers and sisters. Their father was not in their life, so that was a curse, which I come to realize that existed. So that was again, a choice, you know, and I feel as though, you know, the absence of my father in my life, you know, ended up being my chosen blessing, because I was going to be present. I was going to be, you know, accessible. I was not going to allow those kids to feel what I felt.
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, I think I was able to navigate, you know, through my turmoil and made it their triumph. You know, so again, I think it was not so much where I had a lot of men per se. I think I give a lot of my growth, to my fraternity. Making shout out to the bros, because again, there's a lot those men. I can't speak for others, but I know that my fraternity, we got brothers that truly friendship is essential to our soul. And that is truly what we believe in. One thing about the bros, they're gonna hold you accountable. They're gonna hold you accountable, but yet, be the first ones to tell you that what you're doing wrong, but also be the first ones to tell you that they love you when you're doing the right thing. So I was able to be molded at a very young age because I pledged while I was, I think, about 20 years old. So I've been probably in Q more than half of my life.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate to be around several great men of Omega, to help hone that. So I give them, probably more credit than coaches or anything like that.
Interesting, very interesting. Can you tell me about, do you feel like you were prepared for marriage, and was there anything that you were kind of like blindsided on, like, wow, I didn't expect this? Because as a woman, I think we go into it as like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever, and we don't often think about what could happen. I mean, we'll figure that stuff out once we get in there, but we're just so excited to have that ring. And
no, I don't think you're prepared. I don't think you're ever prepared. I think this case right here, looking back at it, I didn't really know much. You committed.
Okay.
You got a commitment. You have the endurance of what you feel that you need at the time that you need it. But there's gonna be so many pivots that you're gonna have in a marriage. You really find out, a lot about yourself. You'll really find out a lot about your spouse. Because again, there's a lot of things that are going to take you to those deep waters. You know what I mean? And again, I think a lot of times if no one, volunteers to go to the deep waters, again, just like a woman, always going to be this paradise in heaven or whatever. I think they learned that pretty quickly too, when he starts taking the shoes off and leaving them, on the floor,
Yeah.
certain things like that. So I think what it is that you have to go with a mindset that have to more so focus on what you can do within yourself to make yourself better, and ultimately it'll bleed into the other person as well.
Okay. Do you think a 24-year-old is even in a position where they should get married? Because there's a lot of people who feel like get married early on and you can grow with that person. And then there's other people, actually statistically it says that like the older you are when you get married, the longer that you actually stay married and don't divorce. So do you think 24 is like a good age? Or mid-20s?
Well, I can't really say what is a good age or whatever. I think, 24, you're still trying to figure it out. You need more reps. You know what I mean? Because right now, you 24, I'm 48, and I literally just last year found out who I am.
Wow.
Literally. In fact, I really know who I am right now. At this very age right now, just last year, I know who I am right now. 24, I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even want to think about me now at 24 because that was so far away. You know what I mean? But right now, at this very age, I really know who I am. And then here's the thing. A lot of things I did at 24, I won't be doing at 40. I would never think of doing at 48. You know what I mean? In fact, some of the things at 48, I look back at what I did at 24, I'm like, golly, why would you even do that? But again, it made sense at 24.
Yeah.
And with her as well, with 24, they're close in age, she's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Even though statistically women are a little bit more mature, than developmental, from that standpoint, you're still trying to figure it out. There's a lot of challenges in which, that you have before you. I think this generation right here, considering if you're talking about 24s right now, the unfortunate thing they have some parents that can actually help them out a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate because there's a financial or resource that those parents could possibly give them. The unfortunate for the parents is because now the kids are now back in your pocket. You know what I mean?
True.
And literally trying to, hold on as long as they can. I didn't have that. You know what I mean? It was all on me.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. So, would I do it over again? I don't think I would. In the sense of me being that young and getting married, I don't think I would. Not to say, yeah, I will. I mean, me being 100 with you. You know what I mean? Not to say that I would not want that same outcome that I have, but I would like the same outcome at a very, older.
More prepared.
Yeah, more prepared. More prepared. Not even so much financially, more prepared mentally. You know what I mean? Look. There's been times I would go against, 300-pound linemen before I'd rather go through, some of the things I went through in my marriage. You know what I mean? Because again, one thing about it, at least with a lineman, I can run and try to get out the way. In marriage, some things you just can't, you got to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then again, whereas it's one of those things where, you're at the highest of your high, but they're the lowest of the low. You know what I mean? How can you come in and say, hey man, it sucks to be you, cause my day was good,
Right.
Again, and then as a man, you're looked upon. I mean, I can tell you right now, it's hard being a black man, just period. But then also, you have to be the person that has to protect, you have to be the person that has to comfort, and sometimes I feel like men get lost in marriage because it's looked upon them as being the one that have to do the work of, protection, financial, whatever it may be, but a lot of times I think once everybody's got what they needed, who's put back into that person? You know what I mean?
So working in the barbershop for so many years, that is one thing that I was absolutely stunned about because, being a woman and then having women friends, that's the same thing that we say oftentimes, oh, I got lost in the marriage and it just feels like, it's overwhelming. But the men feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Y'all just don't vocalize it to the extreme that we do.
We've always been, no one's ever taught us how to be happy. No one's ever taught a black man how to be happy. You know what I mean? No one's ever taught me how to be happy. No one's ever taught my friends how to be happy. Maybe, I don't know, any of your listeners, but we've always been told to suck it up. We've always been told to, don't cry. He was always told, we was always told what a man don't do. You know what I mean? And so, but yet, we got those same feelings. Even Jesus wept. You know what I mean? We got those same feelings, but we, those emotions in which we were told to suppress, those emotions still exist. You see what I mean? And I think what we do is we mask it so well to where others feel, kids, wives, they feel okay, they got it, they're okay. And they don't ask, how's your day? How are you feeling? What are your blind spots? What's keeping you up at night? You know what I mean? Like literally, what are those things again? And what happens is we get so used to you not asking, so we get so used to you not telling. And we can't tell the other boys because we don't want to be soft. We don't want to appear weak, because those are things in which if we express those emotions, society and as well as our circles, says, man, you're weak. Even though they do the same thing in private. They feel the same things in private. But to another man, see, with you guys, y'all go through issues or whatever. You got your sister, you got your mom, you got your girls, you got your sorority sisters, you got your church members, and y'all all getting together, you know what? And boom,
therapy.
There you go. And by the end of the day, you know what? She ready to go and I'm good and we done moved on. Who we gonna talk to? You know what I mean? And especially where does the man go when everybody brings it to him? Where does he go? When everything is brought to you and you got to handle everything, where does that man go? Because now he's, you feel what I'm saying? He's pretty much, a lot of times he's lost. A lot of times to himself, And then, okay, I can't bring my issues back to you when you done gave me your issues. You know what I mean?
Right there.
Yeah. So what are we to do? Yeah. Drink, mess around. I mean, it's and that's not even so much what they want to do, but again, what he's trying to do is trying to make sure that he don't lose his mind. You know what I mean? Because again, and a lot of them are trying to not be their dads. Trying not to be the man that wasn't for them.
That seems to be a theme when my clients sit in the chair trying so hard not to be their dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the I was married for 10 years and I got married a week after I turned 18. And one of the greatest regrets that I have, because now I'm a fully grown woman and I can look back and clearly see things clear as day, whereas back then I couldn't. I did that to my husband. I wasn't, because he didn't show certain things, I honestly didn't know he was human. I didn't know that he had feelings and emotions and stuff like that. And also, he was, I think that there were things that I would continue to do because it wasn't shown that it was effective or getting any rise from him. And I just kept on doing it too. I was pretty much trash in my 20s for sure. Lord forgive me. But I mean, I've grown. And one thing I'm passionate about with this podcast is showing that men are human beings. Like, they have feelings, and we need to be able to give grace for one and recognize that we're hurting, they're hurting, everybody's hurt. So let's come together and find solutions. Mm-hmm. You know, like, nobody's getting a better deal than the other person. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all just aren't vocal, you know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's definitely something I regret.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of men, what they do is, you know, what I would say is that, you know, they have these issues, they have these feelings, but a lot of men are in fear that that woman is not going to listen, or better yet, turn those feelings against them. Mm. So the worst thing a woman can do is actually hold when a man is vulnerable and opens himself up totally, and then once she discards him. Mm. Because he's now, in his mind, he's jousting. You know, I need to share this. You know, I want to share this. Who else can I share this with? You know what I mean? Yeah, I can share it with mama, but mama, that's mama. Mama's supposed to say, I'm always be mama's baby. Mm-hmm. You know, but again, I'm feeling this way, and the person I think is supposed to be the best person for me in my life, you know, I don't feel like I can actually have that conversation with him. Mm-hmm. Or better yet, if I do have this conversation with him, you know, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being exposed, I'm being open, mm-hmm. you know, because that's the core to a man, is his heart. You know what I mean? Not to say that it's any different for a woman. I'm a man, though, speaking for a man. And if I share that with you, or better yet, open myself up to you, I'm looking for a soothing or looking for a safe place to land. And when that woman does not provide that safe place to land, what she would do, she would never get that part from that man ever again.
How can a woman know that you need that safe space? Is it a matter of you saying, I need that safe space, or is it, like, what does that look like?
Actually, you know what? Basically, listening. Mm-hmm. If I'm talking and you're talking, who's listening? A lot of women, you know what? They don't listen. Because again, men are very simple. Mm-hmm. If he says, no, I just want to chill on my birthday, don't give him a party. Okay. He just wants to chill on his birthday. You know what I mean?
Okay, so but your friends want to see you on that
But
day.
See, that's the whole point. And that's what you want him to do. Mm-hmm. He said he wants to chill and smoke cigars on his birthday. He said, you know what? I mean, again, a man knows what he wants. He visualizes it and he goes to see it. Hey, we're gonna go to a gala this afternoon, or you know what? We're gonna go to the park, you know, to listen to the jazz, you know. So it's gonna be pretty hot. He knows, okay, you know what? I gotta get me a shirt, some shorts, and a pair of shoes. Already in his mind, he already know the color. Already in his mind, he already know who has those colors. And chances are, he's gonna match the shirt with the shoes. So he already know. In fact, he gonna park at the stores where he knows the shoes and the shirts are probably gonna be there. Mm-hmm. He gonna go in there and get the shirt, and he gonna get the shoes. A woman's gonna know the same exact, get the same task, but she got to go to this store, to go to this store, to go to this store, to look at these shoes, to go in and call her girls and say what she think about that, only to come back to the very first store that she saw. They got the shoes and the shirt, and then hours later, you know, you get what I mean? It's a difference. It's a difference.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean. A quick story. Today I took my youngest son. He said, you want to go with me to get some cologne? So we travel off to Tucker, and I was like, well, you want me to go in with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. I said, well, let me do something on my phone real quick, and then I'll be right in it. This man comes out in like 2 minutes flat, had the bottle and was ready to go. He was like, yeah, I smelled it. You know, it was, the man said it was good. It was all right. And I was like, what? I didn't even get to see the inside of the store because he knew what he wanted. And it was,
the goal was to get the cologne.
the goal was to get the cologne.
That part.
Mission accomplished.
That part. So again, when a man has something on his mind, what he's telling you is what is on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think what it is though, a lot of women discount what he's really saying, you know, or discount what he's saying altogether. Or better yet, when a man say he needs to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and then she used that opportunity to tell him what she needs from him.
Oh.
When he says, I need to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
because now I am at a point where I need you to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he leaves with a whole laundry list of what he's not doing. That's when that's when you become silent to him.
Wow.
But then now you slowly put yourself in a position like the opposition's out here.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying? Because now, guess what? You now made my safe haven not safe anymore.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I just want us to be better, you know, and I just think it's something that women need to hear, the pure voices of men, because a lot of women don't have platonic male friends. I've been so grateful over the years to have some really great platonic friends where they will share their hearts, and I get the 100% of how they feel without any funny stuff going on. And so it just makes you realize that men are legit human.
Absolutely.
and you just have to move differently once you know that, like, there's a heart inside.
A lot of women make the mistake because they hear about men from other women.
Oh, that right there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm not gonna ask a baseball player how to play quarterback. Right. I'm gonna talk to a quarterback. You know what I mean? Again, a lot of women make mistakes because they get their advice from other women. First of all, you guys are emotional. That so right basically, your advice is gonna be based on how the question gets to the person, how they feel, giving it back to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're logical. You know, this is going to be exactly what it is. Again, I think in this case right here, when you say women have, I think it's one word, you know, for a woman to actually really be, you know, because this is it's not hard. It's really not hard. A woman just got to be intentional. She got to be intentional. Intentional covers a lot of bases. Intentional is actually, you know, intentional is actually being, you know, soft when you have to be, nurturing when you have to be, you know, grace given, mercy, you know what I mean, forgiveness, you know, but then soft to, slow to talk, great to listen. Intentional. It's a choice. I believe in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things. When he says that, that means you can do all things. We no longer have to burn, you know, calf on a platform, or, you know, for an offering. We go directly to him. So if you truly want, you know, again, if we do all this, this is not hard. This is not hard. We make it hard. You know what I mean? Because again, we stop talking to you. They say, well, he don't talk to me. Well, shoot, every time I talk to you, you talking. Or every time I'm trying to talk, I don't feel that you're listening. Or you're listening to combat what I said. You're throwing what I'm saying back at me to go ahead and prove a point of what it is that I'm not doing for you. Another thing that's missing in a lot of relationships is reciprocity.
Speak on that. What do you mean?
You know what? There's a fountain out here. The end goal is to make this fountain big, right? But that fountain can't go if it ain't got no water being poured into it, can it? Okay. So when the water is poured into me, I get a big sprout. The more water is poured into me, the bigger the sprout. And the water is being poured back into you. You feel what I'm saying? It's a pour for a pour. Reciprocity. You can't expect for me to give you everything and my tank is empty. That reciprocity.
That right there.
You know what I mean? Reciprocity. Because again, the more I give, a lot of women, a lot of men I talk to, the more they feel, the more they give, the more they take. but there's nothing given back into them. You feel me? Reciprocity. Hey, you cannot do me. Because the more love I'm giving you, the more love I'm going to get back. Well, I'm going to give you some more love, and I'm going to get some more. That's easy.
I remember.
Did you not agree?
I definitely agree because I've tested this out a few times. I remember one guy I was seeing years ago, I just like got him some cookies. And he was so excited about the cookies. Now there was Oreos in the package. I didn't even put them in the oven. But the fact that somebody was thoughtful enough to like give him something. And I don't know if he was never given anything at all.
Probably wasn't.
But
Or probably, you know what, it was probably forced, or it's probably because it was a holiday. If that was just a Tuesday and you got him some Oreo cookies and you knew he liked Oreo cookies, absolutely. It's the small things.
it's not that
It's
hard
the
either.
small, and
Like,
guess
that was-
what? It was a $3 bag of Oreo cookies, but that right there could have turned into a $300 date
Yeah.
night. You feel me?
Yeah.
A real man you cannot do.
Oh, I like that.
You can't.
That right there.
It's impossible. A real man you cannot do him. It's impossible. It's impossible. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of women making good men bad. Because you know what? I'm tired of being used. So now, you know what? I tried it. I wanted to be good, but every time I'm getting good, I'm a simp. So you know what? It seems like they respect the ones that actually, they got the toxicity. They got to
Right.
respect that. So hey, there's a lot of brothers that say, man, you know what? I tried. I want to turn in my car. I'm about to go back and be what I was.
No, I have a really good friend, and he actually said that, like, I'm about to go out here and be a whole hoe.
Well, yeah.
Because, there's no attachment. I can move and shake as I will, and, don't have to get my feelings hurt.
Not only that, but you know what? I know that I could get reciprocity from this person, this person, this person, this person. Because guess what? They want to continue to go on this date, this trip. You know what I mean? So again, but that's not what he wants.
No,
But
absolutely
that's what
not.
he's now being conditioned to, because the person that he thought that he would actually have didn't actually, appreciate what they had while they had him.
And that's exactly what happened. It's almost as if you were in the room.
Yeah. Well, my grandma always say you would hit the same line twice.
Whew.
So,
Come on, right there.
man, there it is. There it is.
Wow. What would you tell me going into my next relationship? What advice would you give me?
One advice I would definitely give you, first and foremost, listen. Listen. Now here's the thing, another thing also too, you can't give everything to every man, because every man's not deserving of that. But the one that is deserving of it, he's going to show you very quickly. He's going to show you, extremely quickly his intentions. You know what I mean? If he's intentionally with you, if he's intentionally trying to be with you, then theoretically what you're going to see early on is that, okay, he is really into me. He's really, showing me the affection and respect. One thing about it is a man has to have respect. Man has to have respect. And again, for you, oh man, you know what? Again, just the small things for a man. You know what I mean? Whether you're cuddling, whether if you know that he likes a certain type of, he likes a certain type of dish, and you know how to make it. It's the small things. You know what I mean? Literally, it's nothing big. It's the little things that actually make, when ask him, how was your day? And generally be interested in his day and give him feedback. You know what I mean? Because again,
Don't try to rush off.
don't try to rush.
get my
Exactly.
day.
Or you know what, you're talking to him, or he's talking to you, but you're on your phone. You know what I mean? You're distracted. You're distracted. Right there, you don't have my attention. I'm not important. Make that man feel important. Because guess what? The world ain't. The world ain't. I want to get, you know what I mean? But the world's not.
Hey y'all, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you're interested in telling your love story, email me at barbershoplovestories@gmail.com. Serious folks only. Now back to the podcast.
Again, a man, there's no rocket science to us. You know what I mean? Basically, it's the smallest things, the little things that's actually going to separate you versus him. Because again, a lot of people, a lot of men are used to their value being what they can provide.
Ooh.
Literally.
And that always makes me cringe when I hear my clients share something like that,
It's
because
true.
I don't want to be valued on my sexuality. Like, I just think that's objectification.
Mm-hmm.
And so it also bothers me when a man is just valued on his pocketbook.
Again, like I said, again, if we're going to be candid, women judge men on two things: his penis size and his pocket. Because guess what? When she goes off on him, it's why? Because your manhood too small and you broke. Them the only two things she say.
Wow.
You feel me? What else can she say? What else could she do? You know what I mean?
I don't know if a man, if you can come back from that.
But the fact of the matter is that those are the two things they attack. Because guess what? You ain't say, oh, because you ugly. Because guess what? His manhood is nice size and he got big pocket. Guess what? He
gonna
look
look
real good, don't he? You ain't say, oh, you old fat self. Guess what? Because the manhood is nice size and the pocket right. You look over the size. He's just big bone at that point, ain't he?
Just for the record, I've never said anything.
I ain't say you, but I'm telling you what men say. You feel me? I said, if you want to hear about a man, you talk to a man. You know what I mean? So theoretically, again, like I said, a man does not want to be valued off of what he can provide in the bedroom or in his pocket. He want to be valued on what he can provide up here, from up here. Those type of things right there. Because again, if you are literally showing yourself that you're not about, the money or whatever the case may be, and a good time for you is going to Bruce's and going to walk in the park.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, like I said, when he's used to where we going, because a lot of women today, a lot of men say they don't cook. They know how to make reservations though. You follow me? So again, this is just real stuff. Whoever you have come over here and sit in this seat, they need to be as real as I am right now. And this is the true, we just experienced COVID, and it's still around. But I think the true pandemic is men and women relationships. I think that's just under attack just as much as COVID.
Oh, I definitely agree. That's another reason why I felt literally called to do this podcast, because we have to get together. We have to start seeing and recognizing that things are broken, and that we actually do have skills to fix it, but we got to talk to each other.
You got to be intentional.
You got to be intentional.
Because we are talking to each other.
Yeah.
But there's not being intentional in the conversation. You got to be intentional.
Yeah.
So if you want better, we can do better. But everybody got to want the same thing. And
Everybody.
I think everybody does want the end goal. Same end goal, they're just going about it a different way. So theoretically, let's say how you ride the bike, and maybe the way you ride the bike may be better. And when we ride the bike together, we get there quicker.
We're about to finish up, but what can you tell me in about one or two sentences? What would you say to a young man who's just met a girl, he thinks this is his future? What would you tell him?
What I would tell a man is, let that person be one of your best friends. Let that person be one of your best friends. Don't go off on how she look, how she is, intimately, from an intimate standpoint. Don't get blinded by that. You got, at the end of the day, when the looks go away and the intimacy just becomes redundant, can you sit there and talk to them? Can that be your homie? Can that be your dog? Your girl should be your dog. Where, if you don't have the same likes or interests, that may not be the person for you. I ain't saying you gotta do the same thing, but because you may not always be on the same page, but you gotta be in the same book. Okay. And so, I would tell them that, listen, you want that person to have your back like chiropractic. That person has to always, at the end of the day, that you can count on that person, and as well as the person count on you. But that person should be your friend. At the end of it, because again, you respect your friends. You know what I mean?
You're nice to your friends.
You're nice to your friends. Yeah. You protect your friends. That person right there should be your friend before anything. Because at the end of the day, if whatever y'all go through, at least you got the friendship. So that's what I would tell them.
Awesome. Ronnie, thank you so much. This has been an absolute joy. Like I said, you're one of the men who have one of the greatest minds ever. I really enjoyed talking to you.
I ain't paying for that either.
My Cash App is, you know. Anyways, thank you all for being here and listening to Barbershop Love Stories.